This is Soberfellas. Thanks to everyone that's been in touch. We're recording a bit in advance, and I've been really touched by how many people have sort of got in touch with their stories and tell us about their sobriety.
Is it safe to say we've been inundated?
What number did you... two people have got in touch.
I know, yeah, is that inundated? I tell you what, we've had several messages. Can't move in our house with messages. We have had a few though, haven't we? And I've had people that I know and I interact with already who've messaged me, I've not spoken to for a little while, and gone, oh, by the way, watched Soberfellas, really loved it, enjoying it, good stuff and all that. So yeah, I think, all joking aside, it's been good to get feedback and people saying that. I've had a couple of people message saying like they've got a lot from it as well, and me, we're nothing if not open and honest about the trials and tribulations we've been through, and it seems to resonate with a lot of people who can empathise and have been there themselves.
Certainly does. And one person commented about like triggers being an issue that makes him want to drink, and we're going to do a special on beer adverts and how influential they are, but this was too good not to read out on the show.
I was just thinking when you were saying that, we're going to do a special on beer adverts, and I was thinking, do we do beer adverts on Stratford Pallet?
Okay, so this is like from a brand in South America. Your wife read your WhatsApp. Drink this, 8.2% alcohol.
Wow. So
your boyfriend commented on his ex's photo on Instagram. Some days you just want to forget.
These are quite clever, aren't they?
They're clever, but I mean, it's preying on the...
Yeah, it is. It's a bit close to the bone, isn't it?
Yeah. You left your Facebook open at home.
Do you know what?
Would any of these make you want to drink again?
No, to be honest with you, like...
you saw your girlfriend on Tinder.
I mean, I've never been on Tinder.
What were you doing on Tinder to see you?
I know, yeah. Isn't that like a bit ropey? Because how do you explain to your girlfriend you've seen her on Tinder?
Yeah.
I think the only way out is to say, oh, my mate told me he'd seen you on Tinder or whatever. But I'm trying to think my WhatsApps, but I don't even read my WhatsApps, so good luck to anyone who my missus wants to read them. She's welcome.
Yeah, all you
to.
get off Jay is legend, nice one.
You sound like
Did you like my my crossbar challenge that I sent you the other week?
Yeah, it was good, man. It was good.
Were you impressed that I hit the bar?
You didn't hit the bar.
What happened?
I can't remember what you didn't hit the bar.
You actually watched it, yeah.
I can't remember. I didn't watch it. It's like a little quiz, isn't it?
I fell right on my
He's
heart.
worse than my missus, right? Because the thing with Scotty is, and I do this with missus, and there's one or two people that I do it with. When they message, I want to reply straight away, right? Because my phone, if I don't reply straight away, I get backlogged. I'm not all like, oh, you're so important and busy. I'm not. Just, I have a million WhatsApp groups. I have all this different stuff. I use the same phone for work as I do for my personal life and for everything else and all the other stuff I do. So I always get like inundated with like just random messages and stuff. So when you message or when Vaughn messages or whatever, I'll be like, right, I want to reply, because if I don't, I'll miss it. And the worst thing I'll do is open it.
Yeah.
Someone will say, oh, have you done that or whatever, or then it's open and you've not replied. And I hate that myself when I see I'm blue ticked on the old WhatsApp. So sometimes I'll just reply like legend, because just so I know that I've read it and I've seen it. So I know it can come across as like I'm being shot. I'm not. The thing is, I'm just like, I want to acknowledge the message quite quickly, because I just did it upstairs, right? It's mad you mentioned this. I was upstairs and I thought, and I keep doing this thing where I miss messages or I leave them, and then you almost don't want to go through them, or you like, think, it's been too away. So I went through and I thought I've been through messages, but then you still get that thing on WhatsApp where it says unopened chats, doesn't it? One of them was wishing me happy Christmas, like genuine, and it's someone that I get on with. It's not someone I fell out with or anything.
Did you reply back? Thanks.
Yeah. I just said, oh, sorry, I missed it. I mean, I obviously knew I'd missed it.
You should have just waited till next year.
But the worst thing is, I acknowledged it. I like love-hearted it, and then I thought, oh, I've got to tell him that I've like acknowledged the fact that it's taken me 4 months to reply, whatever it is. Yeah. So I had to say, oh, sorry, bro, I've just read this. So no, I'm not. I don't want you to ever think I'm being funny. It's my way of just sort of trying to reply straight away, because I hate it. Because as well on the channel, just so you know, the graphics, the editing, the metadata, the tags. He's finally upped his game and he does everything. So I feel bad if I'm like, he's doing everything, he's messaging me, and I can't even be asked to reply. That's the kind of thing that get my back up when I'm like, hang on, sunshine. Do you know what I mean?
I'm a new man.
It's kind of disconcerting. I've always been able to sort of have a little dig at Scotty and say, you know what,
booked up again.
I'll do this. When Scotty used to moan, I'd be like, oh, sorry, I'll do the thumbnail, I'll do this. But no, I can't, because he does everything. So if you like this channel, it's because of him. If you don't,
I don't like the way you've done that. Anyway, fuck off. Right, so I wanted to... Well, last week we were talking about the first drink experience that we had. So I thought we'd bring it to present day. If I could put you in a DeLorean...
Oh, well,
a stagecoach DeLorean.
That's...
Bring you back to Davy Hume, 1998. Would that how old would you be then?
Yeah, I would have been 18. I think I moved out probably the year before, but I was back and forth. So yeah, that's
right.
not a bad shout.
So if you were 18,
yeah,
what advice would you give to the 18-year-old Jay Motty, or your other name that you used to be called?
Yeah, the full name, Justin Mottershead. This is going to sound somewhat egotistical, it's narcissistic even.
You have a great life.
Yeah, I'm Donald Trump. Donald Trump there. So great, so beautiful. Me and you have known each other for going on 25 years, right? You know, we've both been in a similar position where we've been ups and downs, and even before I met you, I went through a lot of ups and downs, even probably more downs than I did post meeting you. And I'm not saying those were wonderful times and experiences, everything, but everything I've done has led me to this point right now.
I get that. You've said that before, but would you not give any advice not to change? Even
I'm a big believer in the butterfly effect, you say.
Right, but not to change what happened, but to give a heads up about what's going to happen.
Right, okay, I like that. Yeah.
So I was looking at this before and I was thinking, right, well, I just give advice about what's later on down the road because you can't change what's gone.
Right, all right, I get that. Sorry, yeah, because I always think like if me or you were to alter 1 second of our lives, right, leading up to the birth of our children, you have different kids.
Why have you turned into Brian Cox? It's a hypothetical
I'm just
question,
saying.
But we're not going to get in a DeLorean.
That 1 second makes all that. I'm just saying, all right.
No, but the seconds in the past.
You started it with your stagecoach DeLorean. And now you don't like the fact that I've brought into the laws of physics.
My sci-fi YouTube podcast.
And now you're comparing me to the guy out of Succession.
What would you say? I tell you what, I'd tell him.
What has Logan Roy got to do with this?
I'll drive a DeLorean stagecoach up your ass.
See, violence.
If a double-decker bus.
One advice I'd give myself is steer clear of David Scott when you start working together at one tell. Don't let him fool you with his good taste in music and football, his bad gear.
Avoid him. No. What advice would you give for what's ahead? How to deal with it now?
The trouble with advice, right? And I am going to answer your question because I get the impression you feel like I'm testing you. I'm not.
Dodging the question.
Most advice, right, is very close to cliched. Right. Because it has been repeated a lot. Most of the good advice is very similar.
Right.
Yeah? So when you say it sounds a little bit cliched, doesn't it?
Yes.
So I am in danger of giving my younger self, cliches. But it is kind of true. My advice would be to keep going no matter how bad things get. There's times when it might seem like the thing with the rock bottom, the danger with a rock bottom is for some people, they don't bounce back from a rock bottom. It becomes, and I'm going to go all serious now, it becomes such a bottom that you think there's no other option. You're not going to, this is it, I'm so low, and you want to cash in your chips, whatever. I would just say to myself, look, things are going to get rough, but you'll get through it. Because there was times when I didn't think I would, and there's times when I didn't know if I wanted to. And obviously I did, and I'm glad I did. But I would probably just try and mentally prepare myself by saying, look, it's going to get proper shit. It's like United. Yeah. You think this is bad? Don't worry, we've got Saucy Dad this week. It's going to get worse, right? So I would just say, look, it's going to get minging.
Yes.
As a good friend of mine once wrote. But there will be, a lot of sunshine and rainbows after the darkness. So
you are going to be like...
I think that's one thing. I'd like to mentally prepare myself for just how bad it could get. Yeah. Because I don't think, sort of, if you're going back to 1998, let's just say, for example, still with Dad's, in that semi-detached house in suburbia, I probably envisioned where I was going to end up. A few years down the line, you might not be, be living it up.
How did it end up here?
Yeah, what the hell's going on here? Yeah, so I think I'd probably just try and say, look, it's going to get proper gritty, horrible, minging, dirty, and depressing, but it'll be all right, son.
Would you have listened? What would your response have been? You were doing all this back in the day.
I'd have been like, what? This is exciting times. Do you know what I mean?
What sort of drugs am I? I've got me from the future.
I know. I think if I'd have told myself what I was going to take and do, I'd have been keen. You're going to sniff what? You're going to smoke what? You're going to end up where?
Sounds like a film.
Yeah, this is wow. So that's what I do and say.
Okay. I put down a few. I say enjoy every single moment of Man United and ride the success into the sunset.
You've done me there. That's a really good. That's the best one.
I'd say 90% of the people that you're trying to impress when you're out on the night out or in a pub.
See, I can tell you
will become a distant memory within a decade. It's a personal one. I'd say the skeletons in your closet are trying to turn you into a ghost, and they're going to use drink and drugs to ruin your life, and you won't realise it for a long time that you needed to open the wardrobe and let some light into the darkness that you harbour. Very poetic.
You are a wordsmith. I've said this about you
and then
several
to throw in
times.
some swear words, I'd say, meditate, motherfucker, meditate. It will change your life and your whole outlook.
Very good. Very sage advice. If you can have something that's very sage. And also...
Do you like sage?
Is that just stuffing? Is that what's in stuffing?
Stuffing is that
I like stuffing. I don't know. Sage...
It's a herb.
Yeah. I'm not big on the herbs, mate. No, I was, obviously. But I'm not like... I'm a bit of a bland eater, me, Scott. You know that.
Yeah. Which is strange, considering what a connoisseur of narcotics you were.
Yeah, I've tried everything, narcotics-wise, but like, food-wise, I'm on rotation. I have the same 7 meals on rotation every week. It's like, that's me.
And not so surprising that you never tried spice?
No, there you go, you see. He's clever, innit? Yeah, here's one for you, then.
Yep.
What advice do you, or would you, or are you prepared to give your kids if they started dabbling?
I would say, I'd just be honest and say, look, why are you doing this? What is it you're getting from this that you need to do it? Because I was following my footsteps with my dad, and he didn't have a clue why he was getting pissed every weekend.
Yeah.
And I found out later on in life as he did.
Well, you think you're better equipped than your dad was to handle something like you know.
100%. But I had to hit sort of wall or whatever to sort of...
It's hard, isn't it, bro, because...
But I held resentment to my dad, though, about it. Because I was like, why didn't you, who was supposed to, like, guide me through this, say, just, you know, he could see me in the pub before him on a Friday and then not see me until Tuesday. Yeah. And then, like, go like, you all right, son? Do you know, like you need to sort your head out. That's the advice.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's difficult, man, because there's part of me that feels like if I caught any of my kids taking drugs, my instincts would be to come down on them like a ton of bricks. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's the worst.
I know. I wouldn't. I'd have to take a step back. Yeah. But because I'd be so scared.
I think
I'd be worried they're going to end up
in
the places I did. Yeah. And I don't think they would. I know you can never predict it. It doesn't matter out your family life, your background, especially if there's a whole different argument about addiction. Is it hereditary? Is it learned or whatever? I mean, that's probably a different topic for a different podcast. But there's a chance that they could end up trying drugs. There's a chance they could end up, even using it quite heavily. I don't know. Obviously, I hope they don't. And there's an equal chance they don't. I mean, and even if it is genetic, the mum is almost a teetotaler. I mean, she has a drink now and again, my missus, but she can take it or leave it. She's one of them.
But I think that if you look at that, the generation of our kids compared to the one before them, there's not the influences there was when it was our days. There's a lot more social activities that you can do. I mean,
the gym's one, innit?
Yeah, but not that it defends...
More people do that now, don't they?
Yeah, not that it defends our actions, but there was fuck all else to do but get pissed. Like, Manchester was not the hive of culture that it is today. Like, I'm going playing padel again next week.
You know, there's like producer Ethan, who's...
Yeah, he's coming to join me.
He's in the studio at the minute working on some other stuff, but he's into all that. I get your point. And also, like, even at home, if you were 16, 17 back in the 90s and you were in your house... You didn't have a million television channels to watch. The internet wasn't a thing. You couldn't go on YouTube. You couldn't go online. That wasn't a thing. It was in its infancy. Certainly no one I knew was online in the 90s. So you'd go out, and if you went out, no one's got... Nowadays, people, even young people, quite a lot of young people will go do stuff like go to the gym and stuff like that, which was quite rare when I was a kid that people my age went to the gym. Some did, not many. So you go out and you either play football or... If you were going out at night, you wouldn't be playing football all the time at night. You'd want to do something else, and like you're saying, getting on it was the thing to do, wasn't it?
I was in the gym this week and went for a sauna afterwards, and there was a lot of like 19-year-old lads in there, and they were just talking about like science and like the best things to eat and all this, and I was like, this is strange.
It's mad, isn't it? And it's think as well, because you've got all that information at your fingertips, where again... we didn't have that when we was at.
You can look up stuff now. Yeah. That's a good segue into this actually, because if you were given any of the sort of descriptions about what the drugs can do, like real warnings, would you have taken them? So I'll read some of the ones for booze, so physical and mental health. I actually want to caveat this because I want to make sure that people are watching who aren't sober and can drink and do drugs and doesn't affect their lives. We're not having a go at you or judging you. You do you, that's great. I hate when people change their life around, like vegans, and they start judging everybody who's eating meat.
What was that?
That was...
What's wrong with vegans?
There's nothing, like when they become, like, I've just given them the V's for vegans.
Nice, very clever. Why though?
Because when vegans become like, I'm not eating meat anymore, they tell everyone and then start looking down.
How many
nose.
vegans have told you not to eat meat recently?
None. I don't hang around with them. For that reason.
Fake outrage. Vegans? Tell you what, I'm sick of vegans telling me not to eat meat, right?
It sounds like something they'd do.
Yeah, but they don't with you.
I'll tell you a story, actually.
Go on.
I was a vegetarian for 18 months.
Right, okay.
And alcohol stopped me being a vegetarian because I got absolutely wasted. This is when Jaeger bombs were at their height. And there was nothing but a fried chicken that was going to cure that hangover. And I was literally waiting outside the takeaway for it to open.
Oh, was it?
Chicken. That's
fair enough. Yeah, but like, I mean, if you want to be vegan, no, it doesn't really bother me. I'm certain.
Yeah, but you don't go around, like, there are people who are sober who are quite militant with that, though, aren't there?
I've got people I know in my life, and I've always got the sort of...
Like, you don't judge people, do you?
No, and
you don't tell them anyway.
No, I mean, you know me better than that. But I have been judged myself by people who are sober, because there are people who are sober who do certain things to stay sober, like they might do 12-step, or they might do do meditation or therapy or whatever. Now, I'm not judging them, whatever works for you, but then they might look at me, and my advice, or not to say my advice, my experience is different to theirs, in the sense of I pretty much this time round, and I've been through lots of different attempts at getting sober, as you well know. This time around, I just stopped drinking and taking drugs. Like that. Now, not many people do it like that. And I've been in those situations where it's like, oh, Jay's sober. What did you do? You don't know nothing. Right. Well, I was sober. How long have you been sober for? 10 years. Because it's kind of like, you can't really question someone. I don't think you can, who's 10 years sober.
No, because...
If it's obviously working for me. Because if I was like 10 days, you might go, well, you're heading towards a relapse. That's not going to last. It's been a decade.
Yeah.
But I know people who have been a little bit annoyed, and they don't like me spreading that message, because it's not... I think that the point, and they're coming from a point of love. They're not being.
Yeah, I was going to say, are they worried?
I think they're worried. They're not worried about me necessarily. They're worried that might be a bad example to set to certain people.
Right. Okay.
Because in an ideal world, everyone out there who wants to stop drinking wishes they could just stop.
Yeah.
And they can, and I couldn't for many attempts until this time round. And I had so many different circumstances that worked in my favour to help me do it, that it worked for me and it stuck for me. But I'm at pains to say to people who are early recovery or are just trying to get clean, don't just think, you can just stop that. You can't do something. I encourage people. I've taken people to meetings, even though I don't go to meetings. I've said, look, this is a good pathway into... You might not even want to stick around the meeting. It might not be for you, whatever.
And you tried everything, though, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. But I always say this is something that does work for a lot of people. I've got friends who are in recovery who do 12-step programs. I've got friends who do work on themselves. I introduce people that I've had a couple of people who've reached out to me because of the stuff we do and other stuff, and I always sort of steer them in the direction of others, as well as as I do chat to them and try and encourage them and give them support where I can. But I don't want to say to people, just doing what I do is for everyone, because it's not for very many people. It's very rare that an addict will suddenly decide to stop using, drinking, drugs and then just stop.
Yeah, and it wasn't as though you didn't exhaust every other avenue beforehand as well. Point. So you were pretty much like, where else do I go from here?
Yeah, so it was it's a unique situation I found myself in.
So we were talking about the first time you had a drink. What do you think the actual draw is for alcohol for you?
There's several aspects. You touch on them quite a lot, and you talk about in your book Mancunians, which is available from all good bookstores, especially good bad ones, and there's some especially good chapters featuring me. But there's the social aspect. Everyone does it. You're fitting in. You go like. There's that draw of.
You're part of the herd.
Part of the herd. That's couldn't put it any better. You are part of the herd. So there's that. You're not going to go out when everyone's drinking, and you're going to start. At the time when you're younger, drinking. Soft drinks, whatever. So you are part of the herd. There's that thing of giving you confidence, helping you chat to women, which is. Obviously something I always struggled with, and I have a beer and all of a sudden you get a little bit confident. I mean, you worked in Malia. I couldn't have done what I did in Malia sober.
No.
You know what I mean? My job with Kamaki and going up to people and just chatting to them and trying to get them in a bar or whatever. So, you know, having a drink helps you do that. It gives you that confidence, gives you that bravado. And like you mentioned earlier, it makes you feel part of the herd. And also just it becomes second nature. It becomes something you don't question. You go out, you get drunk.
You only question it when it becomes a problem, I feel, or when it causes a problem, I suppose. That's when you start questioning.
Even then, I think
the impacts it has. I was watching that clip I sent you yesterday. I don't know if anyone watching this watches the Andrew Huberman YouTube channel, and he's like I can't remember what science is into, but he does like these massive 2-hour, 3-hour sessions just talking about loads of different stuff to do with the health. But he does one like on the benefits and the downsides of alcohol, and he said that studies now that have been done in the UK, the healthiest amount of drink you're supposed to have, what was it, 2 pints a week?
Two a week.
Because
he was saying when it
has an impact on your body.
Even like a bit more than that can have such a negative effect.
And especially when you get over a certain age, the rate that your brain deteriorates, that can be increased.
I shudder to think what I'd have been like if I'd have been drinking for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Because I'm already dozy and forgetful and confused, as you all know.
It's true.
I am. And I'm like...
I hear the same story from him a lot of the time.
I know, but people pick up on it on Paddock when it's like, Jay tells this all the time. Jay said this before, and I'm like, have I? Well, I do worry. I think if I was like... If you'd give me 10 the last decade of being on it, I don't know where I'd be.
Can you imagine if they put you on straight for Paddock 11?
I was talking to Joe this other day. I couldn't go on camera drunk anyway because I wouldn't be able to sort of, you know, control the nonsense that was coming out of my mouth, and also just from a sort of a professional point of view and trying to sort of, you know, look after the channel and stuff like that. Be beyond me.
Yeah. What do you think about the sort of the rebellious side of it when you're younger as well? Sort of like I wanted to ask about you. I was thinking about this the other day. You know when someone pisses you off? So we talked about before about triggers and the adverts that will make you want to drink. When someone upsets you, like, right, well, I'll show you. You watch what I'm going to do to myself tonight.
Yeah.
Do you know, have you ever done that? Like, your boss pisses you off. I'm going to get so hammered that I can't walk for 2 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it don't make any sense.
I think there's an element of, I think sometimes when you're annoyed and fuming and having a drink amplifies that.
Oh, it's the worst time to drink.
It can be quite enjoyable being that angry and being drunk and being like in it. Do you know what I mean? Like really sort of reveling in it. I think there is an element of that. I mean, it doesn't make it any easier, especially in the long term. It makes it a lot more difficult. But yeah, I've done them ones as well.
Dopamine hits?
Remind me, dopamine. I keep hearing this word.
So it's like the things that make you feel good.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it sort of lifts your mood.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's something you get from it, but it's not something.
Do you remember not getting like? I used to love 3 pints is great. I think that's the blissful time when you used to drink, if you can remember. But you know, when you get 3 pints, you feel nice and warm. It's like a nice hug. But then you get 4 or 5 pints in, it's more like a headlock.
Yeah, I get your point. And sometimes when I used to drive, I'd have like 2 shandies and a, or 3 shandies. I think that was the limit. Buzz. And you get a little something there. You feel a little bit of a thing, but without being anything, because he's obviously.
But 3 pints are never enough.
But then I'd leave my car somewhere and just get absolutely shit-faced.
Right, okay, so these are some of the downsides of drinking. Damages your brain?
I mean, it's...
Evidence,
evidentiary.
Wrecks your liver?
Yeah.
Have you ever had anything, like, tests or anything?
Yeah,
since you've been sober?
Yeah, I used to get a blood test every year, and I thought it was standard. I thought everyone got a blood test, like, once a year. I remember...
MOT?
Yeah, I remember Missy saying, why did you get a blood test? I was like, everyone has it. She was like, no, they don't. And I spoke to people that I know, so it's like some intrigue, some weird, like, mysterious thing, just my mates. And I was like, did you have a blood test? And they're like, no. So it's like, right, okay. So that's a doctor, and he's like, because I had issues around mental health years ago. He said, we give you like a checkup every week. So like, you flagged up on the system as someone who should have a blood test. So they gave me a blood test, sort of story I'm meandering towards. And they said it was a year ago that I had pre-diabetes, non-diabetic hypoglycemia or something. It was like sugar levels were too high and I needed to cut down. And I'm scared of needles, which has been a saving grace of mine over the years. I haven't fought for that. So I had to cut down on my sugar.
Yeah. How was that?
Yeah, it was alright. I was annoyed. So I was like, for fuck's sake.
This is my only vice.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
honestly.
honestly.
Donuts off, man. What was the one thing you hated having to cut though?
It was sugar in my bruise was hard. Because I had 2 sugars and then I had to wean myself off it. So I went to 1.5 to 1 to half to none. And now I'm alright. But that was difficult. And then...
Did you go to 12 steps or anything?
No.
error.
Hey, racking up lines of sugar. What are you doing there?
Well, do they say like sugar people can have like addicted to that?
Yeah, like I know people who've come off. Like a lot of people who are on. Is it heroin where you eat loads of chocolate and stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So it can be give you a little bit of a. Say buzz is the right word, but a little bit of a nice feeling about eating certain things. But yeah, I'd just cut all that out.
This is one thing I've noticed, especially like being sober. I think it's 4 months this month. And,
well done, son.
It disrupts your sleep. Like my sleeping now is just fucking.
Yeah,
like
mine's a bit.
Mate.
Mine's still all over the gaff.
Is it really? But do you like consume coffee a lot?
I consume coffee a lot, and also sometimes if I've got something hanging over my head, like I'm worried about something, and it can be something so trivial. It can be like, you know, I don't know, I'm trying to think. Say United, I'm over that now. But it might be something like, you know, a money worry. We've got a few bills coming in. It's like I've balanced the budget this month. You know, that can sometimes play in my mind a little bit. It might not be to the point where I'm like, I get by, but when I go, it's at night time, it's still in the back of my mind, and it can just sort of disrupt my sleep. Or it might be, you know, just, it can be almost anything trivial. You know, one of the kids might be having a few dramas at school or whatever. Just something that you think, almost consciously, you're like, I'm all right with it, like it's not too shabby.
Yeah.
But when you get into sort of at night, it's in the back of your mind. Sometimes little things like that can just do me in. And I'm one of them as well. When I sleep, I'm not one who can just, you know, get in bed and go. I used to have the telly on or something.
That's interesting. That's changed for me. Like I used to always have to have noise on in the background. When Rooney used to have to sleep with the Hoover on.
Yeah.
But I used to have to. You got to answer the phone.
No, so sorry about this. Someone's coming into the studio. Can someone go and let Steve into the studio, please? Sorry, we'll wrap up in a minute.
That's okay. Yeah, I'll do it now. Yeah, but I used to have noise on to sleep, whether it's podcast, the TV, or whatever. Yeah. And then now I can't have any noise or anything. I literally have, it's ridiculous. And then sleep, and this morning up at 5 o'clock, up.
Because you're an early riser, aren't
you? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But no, it's good, man, because I'm like, it's weird. Sometimes I get out of it, and sometimes it's like where I don't need that. And like last night, usually my missus goes to bed earlier than me. She'll go to bed about 10, half 10. I go to bed about midnight, 1 o'clock. And sometimes I fall asleep on the couch.
That's why I texted you the other night, and then you said I'm in bed, and I was like, what?
I know. That's a rare moment, to be fair, because sometimes I will go to bed and, like, if I fall asleep and wake up at, say, 11:30, I'll go up then, because I think I don't want to wake up at 5 or whatever. Yeah. And we have like a thing in our house where, like, if it's after a certain time, I'll just probably stay on the couch, because it's like, it's easier. I'll usually wake her up when I go up, and it's not fair on her, because she's got to get up a little bit earlier than me with all the kids and everything. So it's one of those where
my sleeping has just completely changed, and that has a knock-on effect and everything else. Let us know anyway how you're finding your sobriety, and if anything has changed for the better since you have stopped drinking and doing the drugs. Right, I've been Scotty, that's been Motty. Get in touch, Scotty and Motty at gmail.com or the Soberfellas at gmail.com. We've got 2 email accounts because there's 2 of us.
2 of us.
And, you know, we'll check one of them. Bye.